They dragged a human cub onto the observation deck. Now the entire Predator brood rests beside her. The deep-range carrier Sable Kindness moved through open space. Steady and quiet, it was a working ship, with sealed holds and strict rules the cargo. Bay carried samples and secured specimen vaults for the Interstellar Xenobiology Directorate and one special passenger, a human child, Keshvarine, the ship's chief xenobiologist. He had warned the crew to be careful. Humans were listed as Death World. Survivors strong, smart, and known for bonding with many kinds of life, the captain, RHA-LZX, gave the order the child was 3 standard cycles old, recovered from the debris. Field at Hatternine, a habitat failure. No family found. The mission was to deliver her safely to the human diplomatic station. The child's name was Mara. She looked like a human, young, small, soft, still learning to move with control, but her eyes were forward-facing, focused, aware. She stared at him for a long moment. Then she smiled. The change began on the 4th day. The ship also carried 6 juvenile Varkin, powerful predator species from Varkin Prime. They were secured behind layered containment. They had been calm during loading. Now they were restless. Security Chief LENN reported new behavior, pacing, impact, testing, loud calls, group coordination. RHA-LZX answered carefully. More sedation could harm their development, and the cargo had to remain safe. Then an alert sounded. Unauthorized door status. Human quarters. Keshvarine moved fast. Mara was gone. The room was tidy, but empty. A panel was open. Small screws were placed in a neat line. Keshvarine tracked motion sensors through the ship. The path led toward the observation deck near the Predator. Vaulty reached the deck. Mara sat cross-legged on the floor. Her hands rested on the clear barrier on the other side. All 6 Varkins sat in a calm crescent, still watching. Mara made soft sounds, not clear words, a slow hum that rose and fell with gentle rhythm. The hum carried through the deck, and the Varkin settled. The largest Varkin moved closer, its head tilted, its voice rumbled. Low and controlled, Mara replied. She copied the tone and rhythm as best she could, softening the end. Like an answer, the pack leader's tail slowed, then lowered. Keshvarine should have removed her protocol required, but he saw something rare: bonding. Social alignment. Calm exchange. Mara pressed her palm to the barrier. The pack leader placed its snout to the same spot, claws retracting with care. Mara yawned. The brood lowered their bodies together, not random, but organized, a protective pattern. Keshvarine's cum unit crackled. RALZX demanded a report. Keshvarine answered. Mara was on the observation deck near the Varkin vault. The Varkin had stopped aggressive behavior. They were responding to her as a pack. Member RALZX arrived. With LENN and 2 guards, they stopped at the doorway. Mara had curled on her side, jacket folded under her cheek, breathing slow and calm on the other side of the barrier. The Varkon arranged in a protective circle, bodies angled outward, heads turned toward approach paths. They were not focused on her as a target. They were focused on her as someone to protect. Len whispered that it made no sense. Keshvarine agreed. It was outside normal models. RALZX asked what Mara was doing. Keshvarine answered softly, humans bond early. They build trust fast. Mara was offering belonging. RALZX gave an order. Secondary barrier. Lennon reacted. But the captain repeated the command: lower the secondary barrier. Keep primary containment. Allow environmental exchange. The secondary barrier lowered. Air moved between spaces. The pack leader lifted its head. It sensed Mara clearly, then released a low, steady purr. Mara stirred, opened her eyes, and smiled. For the remaining 6 days, a routine formed. Mara spent her time on the observation deck. She ate there. She rested there. The Varkan stayed calm. They ate their meals. They watched her. They matched her quiet when Mara slept. They held the same protective formation. Keshvarine recorded everything: audio, video, behavior notes, stress readings from ship filters on the final day. The human diplomatic station came into view. The human representatives were waiting. Protocol required transfer. Keshvarine lifted Mara into his arms. Mara cried, sharp distress, reaching back toward the barrier. The Varkon rose together and howled. The sound rolled through the ship, not as a threat, as a bond response. RALZX said it plainly. They were bonded. Keshvarine agreed. Truly bonded. Len said. They must separate. Mara held tight to Keshvarin's shoulder plates, the Varkon pressed close to the barrier. Claws striking the deck, not breaking. Reaching, Keshvarin asked Rhalx for permission to speak with the human delegation. Rhalx paused, then granted it. Kai Severin faced the human envoy, calm eyes forward, gaze careful posture. He spoke clearly. He had a proposal, one that kept protocol and reduced harm on both sides. 3 months later, the Directorate approved a new charter. Mara would be raised at the Xena Zoological Preserve, under strict supervision alongside the juvenile Varkon brood with Keshvarin as lead behavioral overseer. The decision caused debate, then interest, then respect. Keshvarin watched 4-year-old Mara run through the preserve meadow, laughing steady. Unafraid, 6 towering Varkon moved with her close, careful, always aware, always guarding where others saw danger. Mara saw family that evening. Mara slept in the center of their circle. The entire predator brood rested beside her, just as they had on the observation deck. And Mara slept peacefully, because humanity's greatest strength was not violence. It was their endless capacity for love. Subscribe to Neon Cub Tales right now, because the next story will hit even harder. Like this video if you felt that moment on the observation, to comment your favorite scene. And tell me what you think the predator brood felt first. Share this with a friend who loves HFY stories and emotional. Subscribe to Neon Cub Tales so you never miss the next jaw-dropping human moment.